Alright, y'all, so let's talk about Saw X, its ending, that post-credit scene, and where do we go next with this movie? So, of course, Saw X has come out and it is getting rave reviews. It is definitely a time to say Saw is back, and I'm definitely excited to report that it is indeed a hit. Let's talk about the movie, its ending, and where we're going next. Before we get any further into it, we will be giving away a Saw X poster as well as a Saw t-shirt. So all you have to do is make sure that you comment down below, be subscribed, and follow us on Instagram, and make sure you comment on our Saw post that you want to enter the giveaway. We will announce the winner on Monday, and if you want multiple entries, you can do it by going to the Instagram and following us there, and also commenting on that Saw post. That gets you 2 entries, plus you get an entry for being subscribed on YouTube and commenting here. So 3 entries total you can get. So make sure you go do all of that, and we'll announce the winner on Monday. But let's get right into Saw X and everything we learned. So this takes place after the events of Saw, in between the events of Saw 2 and Saw 3, where we see that John Kramer, pretty much down on his feelings and all of that, especially with his prognosis on life and all of that, learns about a treatment that could cure his cancer that is possibly his last resort. He goes, does this, and eventually we find out, of course, it was all a scam. They were just taking his money, and they're doing this to a lot of people. John is not going to let this fly. He gets one of the doctors and gets them into one of the games, and the doctor survives, and then the doctor pretty much tells all about everybody involved in the scam as well. And John and Amanda make it their mission to put these scammers to the test, and they do so. So we get into the games pretty quick right here. So one of the first ones we see is Diego, who has these explosives in their arms, and they have to cut through in order to remove the explosives. Then we also have Valentina, who has to saw off their own foot. Then Mateo has to pretty much drill into their skull in order to be able to retrieve this like tissue, and that's the only way to get out of this game. And it just gets insane, honestly. Some of the most insane traps here we've seen, and for the most part, I think that they definitely do a better job than some of the previous Saw films that we have here to get under your skin, because I think for a while it had gotten to a point where it felt so like over the top and ridiculous that it really didn't get under your skin, but I think here they do a good job at doing just that. So the last and final victim is Cecilia, who is going to be like the one that's going to be on this new trap that John has set up. But then we have one of the patients that we thought was a patient, Parker, come back to try and get their money. Eventually this leads into Cecilia and Parker revealing that they actually were both on the scam. Parker wasn't a patient, all of that. They were just like using it to lure patients as well. So Cecilia and Parker actually get John to get onto this contraption, this trap with Amanda, but then they see Carlos, the young boy that Jigsaw had met earlier in the film, and now they're just like, hey, let's make him suffer, John. Let's make him have to decide between his life or that young boy's life, and they get both of them on the game while they go and try to retrieve the money from all the scams and everything in the room where we had Jigsaw and Amanda overseeing the traps. Once they're in this room, however, that triggers a tripwire, and it is revealed that John anticipated this was going to happen, and now this room that Cecilia and Parker are in is going to start filling with poisonous gas, and the only way to sort of survive is to put your head through this one hole where only one head's going to fit. So they pretty much have to fight to the death in order to get in there, and we see that Cecilia eventually is able to get the best of Parker. They put their head there, and we see that that makes the game as well stop for John and Carlos. Carlos, John, and Amanda go off on their day, and that's pretty much the end, as Cecilia is just stuck there now. So I thought that that was a pretty amazing story, definitely bringing it back to the roots, I feel, of like making you think about these things as well, and just having you see that John is doing this because he feels this is for the greater good, more of a study on John than anything. And I really did enjoy all of that as well, and just the twist, right? Like the twist that happens when just when you think it's all over, it just like boom, it gets you. And I really do think that's classic Saw when it comes to the twists and the turns of the film, and that it really keeps you on your toes guessing like, oh, what's about to happen? It's about to get crazy. We know nothing and John knows everything. You know, that feeling is just great to have, and Saw X delivers on just that. In a post-credit scene, we see Detective Hoffman. So all you Detective Hoffman stands, stand up. This was your moment, as we see that they are preparing a trap for Henry Kessler, who was the one that told John about the treatment and everything and was in on it as well. And now we see that this is going to probably lead into another Saw film in between Saw films. So one of the things they talked about during the Q&A for the film is that they really let go of John too early. Saw 3, of course, was the last time that John was was in canon alive, and of course now they have to work in between Saw 1, 2, and 3 in order to make more movies with John Kramer. And I'm very curious to see what they want to do. I know they can get into Gordon. I know they can get into Hoffman a little bit as well. This one kind of had a little bit more of Amanda as well. But it does kind of suck that they have to work in these parameters of those films, and I feel like they could do maybe one or two more before we pretty much catch up to where the series was. But I think a trilogy just based on those middle parts that we didn't see from Saw 1, 2, and 3 would be great. So that's definitely what we could be expecting. But let me know your thoughts and opinions on Saw X. What do you think about this return to the series? Is it everything you wanted and more, or is it not all the way there? I'm very curious to know your thoughts and opinions, but I'm very happy to see it doing pretty good at the box office so far, getting pretty great reviews as well. And I think it's the highest rated Saw film to date. So that's something right there. So we'll see what happens. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. We got a ton of stuff to talk about. We were at Fantastic Fest all week, so that's why we didn't really upload, but we got a ton of uploads coming this weekend. So stay tuned for all of that. But like I said at the beginning, if you want a chance to win a Saw X poster or a t-shirt, make sure you are following us on YouTube. That gets you one entry. And if you actually go and follow us on Instagram, The Culture Elixir, I'll put the link over here, or the @ go follow us there and like one of the posts with Saw and comment on it. That will get you 2 extra entries. That means that you can have a total of 3 entries, and we will pick a winner on Monday during the video at 3 p.m. Central Time. So stay tuned for that. And as always, that's going to do it for me. Follow us on our social medias, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. We post more real life updates over there, so make sure you're over there. But tons of reviews, tons of stuff coming. October 1st, this Sunday, we have a spooky start-off kickoff, if you will. And that's going to be an exciting video for sure. So I'm super happy to be doing that. And as always, let me know your thoughts and opinions. And I'll see you next time. Stay safe, stay positive.